So I hope you're following in order, because you'll know by now that the Grinch is heading to Whoville. Let's continue. All their windows were dark, quiet snow filled the air. All the Whos were all dreaming sweet dreams without care, when he came to the first little house on the square. "This is stop number 1, the old Grinchy Claus hissed, and he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch, but if Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once, for a moment or two. Then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue, where the little Who stockings all hung in a row. These stockings, he grinned, are the first things to go. Then he slithered and slunk, with a smile most unpleasant, around the whole room, and he took every present. Pop guns and bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorn and plums, and he stuffed them in bags. Then the Grinch, very nimbly, stuffed all the bags up one by one, up the chimney. Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's feast. He took the Who pudding. He took the roast beast. He cleaned out that icebox as quick as a flash. Why, the Grinch even took their last can of Who hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. "And now," grinned the Grinch, "I will stuff up the tree." And the Grinch grabbed the tree and he started to shove, when he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove. He turned round fast and he saw a small Who, little Cindy Lou who was not more than 2. The Grinch had been caught by his tiny Who daughter, who'd got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, "Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why?" But you know, that old Grinch was so smart and slick, he thought up a lie, and he thought it up quick. "Why, my sweet little tot," the fake Santa Claus lied, "there's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, then I'll bring it back here." And his fib fooled that child. Then he patted her head, and he got her a drink, and he sent her to bed. And when Cindy Lou Who went up with her cup, he went up the chimney and stuffed the tree up. Then the last thing he took was the log on the fire. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On the walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire, and the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Then he did the same thing to the other Who houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who mouses. It was 1/4 dawn, all the Who's still abed, all the Who's still a snooze, when he packed up his sled. Packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags, the tinsel, the trimmings, the trappings. 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it. "Pooh-pooh to the Who's," he was grinchishly humming. "They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two. Then the Who's down in Whoville will all cry, 'Boo-hoo.' That's a noise," grinned the Grinch, "that I simply must hear." So he paused, and the Grinch put his hand to his ear, and he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, then it started to grow. Well, you'll have to watch the next video to find out what that noise is. Mary made some noise, actually. Mary made some noise singing a hymn. She said this: "My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Saviour, for he was looked with favour upon the lowliness of his servant. Surely from now on, all generations will call me blessed, for the Mighty One has done great things for me, and holy is his name. His mercy is for those who fear him from generation to generation. He has shown strength with his arm. He has scattered the proud in the thoughts of their hearts. He has brought down the powerful from their thrones and lifted up the lowly. He has filled the hungry with good things and sent the rich away empty. He has helped his servant Israel in remembrance of his mercy, according to the promise he made to our ancestors, to Abraham and to his descendants forever. Mary's attitude is, of course, far more humble than the Grinch. Mary takes time. When she's with Elizabeth, she pauses. And even after this mighty song, she pauses. Mary's life is full of pausing. The Grinch, he's always causing, excuse the pun, he's always into action, stumbling into one thing and then the next, fed up with his own angst, his own motivation, is far from humble, far from Mary's. Perhaps as we approach this Christmas, we've got a good chance to reflect on Mary and learn from her in how we can be aware of what God is doing, for even when Christmas is trying to be stolen away from us, God's song needs to be sung. One more video to come. The conclusion of the story of the Grinch. See you next time.